County Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, 7 p.m. We're in the Fury Assembly Room on the second floor of the William A. Grimes Justice Administrative Building, 259 County Farm Road, Dover, New Hampshire 03820. This is officially me calling the meeting to order. We'll start with number 2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic that stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe Representative Stelling asked.
Yes.
Thank you. So I would just ask that we all stand as a motion of silence. Members, please long, due to the things that are going on in Iran at the moment and the service members who are lost in other countries, especially as a result.
Thank you. I'll have the, I believe, we have Representative England is on Zoom. And as a result, all of our votes are going to be roll call votes. And also, when we do the roll and we get to him, he can give us a reason why he's not here and if he's along the road.
Gotta do it up front.
All right, Representative England, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Are you in the room alone and do you have a reason why you can't physically attend?
I am in the room alone, and I'm just slightly under the weather.
Thank you. With that, I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Bailey?
Present.
Bay?
Present.
Bixby?
Here.
Burnham? Here. Curran?
Here.
Butler?
Here.
C.D. Foolish? Here. Roy? Here. Barrington?
Here.
Gilmore?
Here.
Ranger?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Harrington?
Here.
Oregon?
Here.
Howard?
Here.
Thompson?
Here.
Kaczynski?
Here.
Lamontagne? Here. LaRochelle?
Present.
Malone? Here. Miller?
Here.
Christian?
Here.
Tempa? Here. Smith?
Here.
Seller? Here. Jeff Smith? Yeah. Thank you. Marjorie Smith? Here. Southworth?
Here.
Stone? Wade? Here. Walker?
Present.
Wall? Here. And Howard?
Here. We have 32 physically present and 1 on Zoom for a total. So we have to roll.
Use the mic.
So we have 32 physically present, 1 on Zoom, so we have a quorum. Oh, I stand corrected with the roll. Can you please call the senators for yours?
Gray. Mikowski. Perkins Coker. Waters.
Here.
Then Brings it to 33 with one on Zoom. With that, I am gonna make one change if there's no objection in, the agenda. To flip, number 11, which is the warming center update with number 12, so number 12, other business that may legally come to the delegated authorities. Or the warming center update, if there's no opposition to that. Okay, we'll move on then to, number 4, which is the approval of the minutes for January 26, 2026 public hearing and meeting. Representative Southworth?
Yes, I make a motion to accept the minutes of the January 22nd, 2026 meeting minutes.
Moved by Representative Southworth. Seconded by Representative Wall. Are there any questions on the minutes, any discussions? With that, I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Bailey,
Aye.
Fay? Yeah. Bixby,
Yes.
Arno? Yes. Bergen, Butler,
Aye.
Stevie Poulin, aye. DeRoy? Yes. England,
Yes.
Barrington,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Granger.
Aye.
Paul,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Lamontaine. Yes. La Rochelle,
Yes.
yes, Malone. Yes. Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Penza.
Yes. Or here. No. Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yes. So,
York, Schmidt,
Yes.
Sully. I believe I should abstain because I left before the end of the meeting. I don't know. Procedure, is that correct? That's okay. Marjorie Smith,
abstain?
Southworth,
Yes.
Stone,
The chairman said that in the opinion.
Wade,
Yes.
Just wrap the street.
Walker,
Yes.
Wall,
Yeah.
and Howard.
Yes. Thirty-one.
I propose.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 31 if their motion passes.
Sorry, folks, there's some confusion about the Zoom attendees that we're trying to sort.
So it's the third. All right.
I looked back up. I didn't believe that.
Yes, everybody's on.
Sorry about that. That brings us on to item 5, which is discussion of the nomination of Strafford County Peace Development Authority representative position. The candidate nominated by the executive committee is Stephen Fournier. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend tonight. But I can say that he is an exceptionally qualified candidate. He has been the representative. He is the town manager of Newmarket. He has really good relations with most with the Seacoast area. And so he's an outstanding representative, which is why we nominated him. Representative Bailey.
Would it be more accurate to say a majority of the executive committee?
I stand corrected, a majority of the executive committee. Is there anyone else who would like to comment? Representative Selly?
Thank you. As someone who knows Mr. Fournier personally, I can say he's a man of high integrity who believes in serving his constituents well, and I believe he will do the same for the county.
Representative Wall?
Thank you very much. I strongly recommend, thank you very much. I strongly recommend Steve Fournier. He's a really well qualified individual. I don't think we could find anyone better or ever have. And so I strongly support this. I do hope that when he gets working with the development, with peace, that he will look at a new direction. We have had some complications down there, and even the governor wonders whether we should even have the authority anymore. I personally think we do, but when we first established that, and I worked on it, we had a very big concern that Pease would take businesses, new businesses, away from places like Rochester and Dover and other places, and hurt the communities that were already hurting during our recession back then. So I'm hoping that we can get the message to him to look at the organization and see how we can update it and have it meet our current needs. Thank you.
Anyone else? With that,
Like to make a motion?
Motion to nominate, to the Strafford County Peace Development Authority Representative Stephen Fournier as our nominee for the governor, speaker of the House, and president of the Senate from Pennsylvania.
so I have a motion moved by Representative LaMontagne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Schmidt. And I'll have the clerk, call vote.
Bailey?
Hey.
Fay?
Yes.
Bixby?
Yes.
Burnham?
Yes.
Bergen?
Now.
Yes.
Butler?
Aye.
Stevie Pullen? Yes. Roy?
Yes.
England?
Yes.
Barrington?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Granger?
No.
Paul?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
Oregon?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Kaczynski? Lamontagne? Yes. LaRochelle?
Yes.
Yes. Malone?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Katenza?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Sally?
Yes.
Marjorie Clint?
Yes.
Strafford? What was that, sorry?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Wall?
Yes.
And Waters?
Yes.
Motion passes 31-3. Thank you. That brings us to item 5 on the agenda, which is the elected official salaries. The executive committee voted on this, and the majority of the executive committee recommended that the first year would be a 0% increase, and the second year would be a 2% increase. Are there any questions on the salaries? With that, Representative LaRochelle.
Yes, make that one.
So the motion by Representative LaRochelle is to set 0% increase in 2027 and a 2% increase in 2028 for the Strafford County election official salaries for the 27-28 session. The motion is made by Representative LaRochelle, seconded by Representative LaMontagne. And I'll have the clerk call the vote. Your discussion.
We didn't have discussion in last time. I thought you asked him to tell me, but.
Oh, I did not mean there was no one who raised their hand during discussion, and if there is discussion, I didn't mean to cut anybody off.
Did you want to say something?
So when the people affected by this at the executive meeting came forward and said they were basically happy with their pays. And I don't know why we're having an increase in the second year when they were happy as it was. This was, somebody choose this along to do this, but they were happy. And I think if you're talking about the constituents we represent and how we should be careful with the money we spend, the pays are already pretty high in benefits in the county. And I would say that's why I would vote no on this.
Is there anyone else? Representative Corrigan?
I voted for the executive committee and I tend to vote for it now. I would have probably preferred to have 1%, but that's make it, I guess, easier for us with the setting the budget in 2027. Certainly surely we shouldn't assume that the office belongs only to the incumbents. I believe there's one incumbent who I believe is ineligible to run because we had all that back and forth about dividing Strafford County into districts, and they forgot to put in the requirement they have to live in the district. So the voters who won the districts selected a county commissioner who didn't live in the district, which was which is not necessarily, which I think was I don't think that was a bad choice on the part. That was a choice they made, but that was so we have at least one commissioner who, unless he moves, will not be able to run, and then the other two commissioners, they still will have to decide for run for re-election and to be re-elected. So I'm voting for it. So I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that the incumbents all agree to it, because it's not just about the incumbents, but whoever wants to run for these seats when we have to finally pair in June. So thanks.
Anyone else? Representative Potenza?
Yeah, I just think it's very important to put on the record that this is coming off of an intense increase. We're talking about for one position alone, almost a 50% increase. And so I think, and we are also literally out of all the counties, and we're not the largest county in the state, we have the highest paid elected officials. And I would really like more than $900 a year, but I just wanted to put that on the record that we are coming off of huge increases. So, I just don't think that this is just really responsible.
Is there anyone else? Representative Wade.
I just have a question. I'm looking at the sheet. Could you clarify the 50% you mentioned?
It was when, this was, I think maybe before you were in office, so how we do it is the 2-year gap. It was for the county attorney.
Anyone else? It was voted on the last session. We voted for what were the 2-year salaries for, last year and this year.
Insane.
Anyone else? Representative Granger.
It seems to me the county attorney salary is outrageously lucrative, beyond any reasonable necessity whatsoever. Like, there's no reason you need to be making that much.
Representative Kaczynski.
Yeah, I just forgot to say, these are elected positions. If you don't like the salary, you don't have to run for the office. People can just do that.
Alright. Anyone else? Representative Burnham?
Thank you. So Milton had a 12% increase in their taxes for 2025. Our constituents are very upset. I'm just making this very clear. I'm not voting for more raises for elected officials. If they don't like it, they shouldn't run.
Is there anyone else?
I wasn't gonna, but.
Representative Bailey.
We'll give them 2 mics. Oh, no.
I think talking about our constituents being unhappy, feedback I get is that I'm not fighting hard enough against tax increases. I'm just some kind of pushover. I'm sure you noticed. I just roll over for everything. I'm sure you all noticed. Turn on the mic.
Representative Wall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, folks, for listening. I've been here a long time, and I've seen what kind of work the commissioners do, and it's not always the same commissioners. And they don't run for the money. They run for the kind of service that they can provide to this county. And year after year after year, I've seen budgets that are restrained, budgets that are very carefully worked out. I've seen creative budgeting in terms of the nursing home and where the food comes from and how we manage to get what we can't truly afford. I'm not happy with the recommendations that have been made, but I certainly wouldn't go back and say that everything is all wrong, that our constituents are upset about our county budget. The county budget is by far the smallest part of our property tax bill. And people are concerned about school budgets and town budgets, city budgets with caps that are being over whatever. And I don't live in the city, so I don't know how the terminology goes. But at the same time, I constantly see how these commissioners, whoever they happen to be, whatever year it happens to be, working very, very hard for us and our constituents. And I just can't see being negative on this. And again, I'm not happy with what the executive committee has put forward. The commissioners are gracious enough to accept it. We don't know who will come back or who will be elected newly next time around. But I just say thank you for the work that they do. Thank you.
Representative DeRoy.
Yes, thank you. We have over almost $1 million in back taxes in my little town. We have people that are gonna be losing their homes, and they still are. And it's gonna continue with what's happening at the state, what's happening in the county. My constituents can't bear this. And we need to start being fiscally responsible here. And giving out these kind of raises right now, while we're in trouble, is not fiscally responsible. I cannot vote for this, I'm sorry.
Representative Granger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So some people seem to doubt that my constituents Milton are upset after their tax cap is routinely ignored by the county. There are constituents in my district who are asking me to get Milton into Carroll County. They want to leave the county. That's how much they hate the county. And I don't blame them. Their taxes are too high. Thank you.
Anyone else?
my second night speaking, probably two more than I should have spoken, just to address the county attorney in particular. Has to be an attorney, has to be a good attorney, and, so she's working probably for much less than she could make elsewhere. She was selected as one of 40 under 40 by the Manchester Union leaders, so they made a very good choice. So, on the case of an attorney, also like the county attorney has a bunch of assistant county attorneys who obviously have to be paid something approximately market wage. And of course, one of the reasons why we had to replace the county attorney in the middle of Attorney Velarde, the brief in the middle terms, because he got a job state, which he's probably still underpaid compared to what he could make in the private sector, but he was making more than as an assistant AG. He's making more now as assistant AG than when he was a county attorney. So at least, I think we at least need to have a salary that's somewhat commensurate with qualifications of the person that can do it. And the same also applies to the sheriff, register of deeds. So
Okay. Representative Cassandra.
I just think for folks that maybe are new and they don't know, maybe we should say what the salary used to be and then what it is now. It's almost 160 grand, wasn't it 90 before?
Representative Miller.
I just happened to have opened the budgets for the past few years, and I opened a few more while we were talking. The line item for county attorney from 2016, and this is just the salary, doesn't include benefits, but it's what I usually pull, and you can extrapolate. 2016 and 2017 was $87.7 thousand. 2018 and 19 was 91. 2020, 21 was 95. 22, 23 was 100. 24, 25 was 106. And the proposed for 2026, I believe, was 131.
Yeah, that was how it went. It was like gonna be an increase that was gonna be, we're gonna get hit in between, and then it was gonna be a huge increase, so.
Yeah, not 50%, but
It is.
2 years.
Yeah, I'm talking about 50% from the 100, so it is.
What?
That's when
It
we
would have to be
voted on it, it was a
150.
50% increase is what we voted on.
You would have to get to 150 if you're talking about a 50% increase from 100.
Okay, all right.
It's 160.
Point taken. It's a large increase. Representative, Howard.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the former county attorney, Attorney Velarde, didn't he push back on the raises?
No, I don't have answers to that.
I do.
All right.
Mr. Chair, under Robert's rules, which is what we're under, can you call the question?
I can, but I need like a 2/3 vote, I believe. Is there anyone else? I think we've heard,
Can I just correct? I thought I did it.
yes.
Sorry, I was reading the 2026 budget. It had the 25 and 26, and I apologize. It was 131 and then 156. It's not just 131, 136, 131. I apologize. Thank you.
So I'm not meaning to cut off discussion, but I think your objection has been duly noted, recorded, and will be in the minutes. With that said, we have a motion on the table, which is and I'll be reading because it seems like it was a while ago. A motion was to set the 0% in the year 2027 and 2% in the year 2028 for the Strafford County elected officials for the salaries for the 27-28 session. And I'll have it.
Bailey,
Nay.
Fay,
Yes.
Bixby,
Yes.
Burnham,
No.
Morgan,
Yes.
Butler,
Aye.
Stevie Coolin,
No.
DeRoy,
No.
England,
Yes.
England,
There it goes.
Yes.
Barrington,
No.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Granger,
Representative Randy votes no.
Hall,
No.
Harrington,
No.
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Well.
Lamontagne. Yes. Flowershop,
Yes.
Brooksville. Yes. Moore,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Penza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Stelling. Yes. Marjorie Smith,
Yes.
Southward,
Yes.
Wade,
No.
Walker,
No.
Wall,
Yes.
and Howard.
Yes. Motion passes 20-13. That brings us to item 8 on the agenda, which is a vote on increasing the sheriff's fees as outlined in House Bill 36. The fee increase is for civil paperwork, and it's increasing by $1.10, raising it from $33.52 to $34.62. Effective date is July 1st, 2026. I'll entertain a motion by Representative Bang.
As Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the increase in sheriff's fees for civil service people, for the service of civil paperwork.
So I believe her motion by increasing $1.10 from $33.52 to $34.62. Do I have a second to that motion? Seconded by Representative Wall. Is there any discussion?
Mr.
Representative Selling.
Thank you. I don't know if the sheriff's here, but, and perhaps you can answer the question for the sheriff. Will this impact, the county budget, or is this simply a fee to use it?
I can have we just so happen to have the sheriff right here. If you can step up to the microphone.
Oh, you can use this one.
Oh.
That one, yeah.
All right.
It is a user fee.
Maybe we do.
Maybe I should. It is a user fee, what we charge to serve paperwork.
Right up here.
It is a user fee. So it would be charged to the individuals who are asking us to serve paperwork to be a very slight revenue increase. That would be maybe seen in the budget very slightly.
So to clarify the question, it's a revenue that would come in, so it's actually helping the county. Any other questions on this? Representative Wade.
Do we have an approximate number for how much money was raised from this in the past year or on average? Just a ballpark.
The sheriff fees, my revenue line, I don't know.
Yeah, that was, we'll have to come back to it. Any other questions? All right, with that, we have a motion on the table to increase the sheriff's fee for civil paperwork by $1.10 from $33.52 to $34.62. Effective date is July 1st, 2026. I'll have the clerk.
Bailey,
Hey.
Bay,
Yes.
Bigsby,
Yes.
Burnham,
No.
Bergen,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Stevie Pullen,
No.
DeRoy,
No.
England,
Yes.
Barrington,
No.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Ranger,
Nay.
Paul,
No.
Harrington,
No.
Oregon,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
No. Well, you should.
LaMontagne, yes. LaRochelle,
Yes.
yes. Malone,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Potenza,
No.
Smith,
No.
Sully,
Yes.
Marjorie Smith,
Yes.
Southward,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Walker,
No.
Wall,
Yes.
and Howard.
Yes.
Oh, we forgot one, Representative England.
You got the other college.
And Waters is.
Oh, yes, Representative Wade, you can read out the. Oh, we missed. Okay, wait,
Going fewer than the zero percent increase. I'm saying that this might understand how to.
Motion passes 22-11. That brings us to number 9 on the agenda, which is to receive the recommendation of the Delegation Executive Committee on the Commissioner's proposed 2026 budget. The Representative Wade, you have a question?
Sorry, I apologize. I just wanted to quickly mention, I did find the line item from the sheriff's fees. So the revenue generated last year was $250,000. So a 3.3% increase would increase revenue by $8,250 approximately.
Thank you.
It's.
Representative,
Perhaps some flaw in the agenda, but again, it's the majority.
again, I stand corrected. So back to number 9, where I was getting started, which is to receive the recommendation from the Delegation Executive Committee on the Commissioner's 2026 proposed budget. And as I was about to say, the majority of the Executive Committee recommended the Commissioner's budget as proposed. I believe the only change that came through any of the committees was an additional $25,000 in revenue. Since Representative Miller is the chair of the committee, is that correct? That's the only change. Yes. So the only change was added revenue, which actually helped with the budget. Otherwise, there were no changes, and the majority of the executive committee recommended it as full delegation.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, there was the increase in revenue that offset a comparable increase in salary for a new hire who's going to be cross-trained to replace someone who's retiring with 30+ years experience. So it's a net neutral tax situation, but there was an increase on both sides of the line.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments about the recommendation, Representative Bailey? Oh. Let me back up.
It just so happened that on my way in here, I was people out front that were unhappy with the isolated. or rather the reimbursements we're getting for the ice money.
Speak louder, please.
On my way in, on my way to India tonight, I was met by some people who were unhappy with money, with the way we're handling ice, saying the reimbursements. And they did not like the fact that we're not getting enough in reimbursement, and therefore they, taxpayers, are subsidizing ice. Federal ice, state ice, county ice. The Strafford County residents are paying for the whole state, the county, and the country. And they were not happy. And I gotta say, I agree with them. I've been complaining about this for years. We're not getting sufficient reimbursement to cover the expenses. And that's here in this budget. They're unhappy and I'm unhappy. And I think you know what happened. I'm honestly.
I have, so this line, this agenda item really was to receive the recommendations. So the recommendations really were, approving what the majority of the committee approved, what the recommendation was for the commissioners. So that will bring me to item 10, which is to vote on the accepted amount to be raised by taxation on Strafford County 2026 budget of $46,029,128 as amended by the executive committee on February 20th, 2026. I'll entertain a motion from Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the delegation accept the amount to be raised by taxes in the amount of $46,029,120 as amended by the executive committee on February 20th, 2026 for the Strafford County 2026 operating budget. And would like to speak to my motion.
Let me get a second on the motion first, seconded by Representative Schmidt. And with that, I'll have Representative Miller speak to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize, my back is going to be to someone throughout all this. The room is not well suited for this round, but in a particularly interesting and strange move here, I'm going to recommend to the delegation that we in fact do not adopt this budget today. I will be voting against it. I encourage my colleagues to vote against it as well. And it goes to the comment we just heard about the relationship with DHS and ICE in the contract there. I think it's probably for a slightly different reason, but it's the same reason. And I believe that we have reached a point over the last several months where who we are holding and how they are being collected and brought here has significantly changed. We have we are holding people in the jail who should not be there. We have been told we don't have a choice in the matter. We have been told that the contract we have requires us to do this. And we are also far, far beyond the original remit that was we are going to use this money to cover the bond for the prison. That's how it was passed 20 odd years ago. That's how it was presented. At the time, it was a very small portion of the budget. We have received some data from the county about what the numbers are. In 2018, we received approximately $3 million of our $71 million budget. That was about 4.7% of our county budget that year. And that was the highest dollar amount we received under the first Trump administration. 2025 saw that number spike to around $7 million. This year, we're talking about approximately $9 million from ICE, roughly 10% of our budget. This is no longer paying off the bond, which I actually understand correctly. The jail bond was retired last year because we finally paid it off. We are no longer paying the bond. We are taking this money, and in my opinion, I've used a lot of colorful phrases in thinking about this. I'm going to call it blood money. Here, we are taking money that we should not be taking. This is not part of what we should be doing. Now, if the point was raised, should we have, sorted this out during the budget process earlier this year? Yes, probably so. I wish we could have. Getting the data we needed, getting the information we needed, was challenging. It did not come in a timely manner that let us do it for this year. So my motion here, or my position here, is against this budget based on that, and is a statement that starting tomorrow, budget 2027 kicks off. I may not be here to approve it next year, but I look forward to the challenge and the work of coordinating with the department heads, with the commissioners, of understanding how we have let this escalate to a level that is out of control relative to our budget, and how we can appropriately serve the needs of our constituents, the needs of our county, without having to jack up taxes and without having to take this money. I don't expect it to be easy. I'm not entirely sure it'll be successful, but I believe it is a project that needs to be done. It is an effort that needs to be done, and it starts now. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else, Representative Granger?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be voting against this budget simply, there's only one reason I need to vote against this budget, and that is it once again ignores the Milton tax cap and throws it out the window and raises taxes in Milton to ridiculous levels. So regardless of what other complaints may or may not exist for this budget, at the end of the day, if it ignores the Milton tax cap, I will vote against it. Are you hearing me, Milton? I am saying I am voting against the budget. Thank you. I don't think I would ever have been tempted in the first place, but just in case there's any doubt about whether I would ever vote for a budget that exceeds the tax cap, the answer is no. I would never do such a thing.
If they aren't watching you live, you can point them to the recorded version. Representative,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just think that even though everybody has worked hard on it, I think that voting down the budget would be a good option, just so we can go back to the table and discuss things. I think a lot of things have not been discussed for this, and I think that for our constituents, both people that are color and who are white, I think we need to discuss this further. I think a lot of our constituents are afraid, and we need to make sure to show them that they are protected, that they are heard, and we need to make sure that we send the right message to them.
Representative Potenza, then I'll get to you next, Representative Software.
Yeah, I do want to speak because I handed out something. I want to speak to what I handed out because I think it's important, and it's the reason why I'm voting against the budget, but now I'm voting against the budget for what was just said there. So think about this, right? So we have continued to take from the federal government to basically be able to support that jail, millions more each year. It's not sustainable. And in a lot of great points that were made, some maybe differing points of view, but it's still coming from all of it's still taxpayer money no matter what. And if we're using that crutch to be able to, sustain jail, that's a problem. So hooray to that. Thank you. This is great. I love it.
Representative Software.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I always have usually want to appreciate all the hard work everyone did on the budget, from the department heads, all of the subcommittees, so on and so forth. It was a very challenging budget because right before it came to us, the state cut $442,000 at the last minute from the budget. And I do think that's part of the context of where we're at. The state and federal government continue to cut health benefits for our most vulnerable citizens. And that puts a lot more pressure on us to have to help them out. And I think it's really a big problem. I think we have to keep thinking about. For future budgets, I definitely want us to look at the ICE situation. It might get better, but it also could get much worse. For a math correction, I don't know if everyone saw on the chart, this year, ICE started paying us $150 a day compared to $100 a day the year before. And that's what makes it a big increase in the share of the budget, because if you go from 100 a day to 150 a day for all those people, it really makes a dent. And so I think, that's important also. Again, I really appreciate everyone's work. I too feel that the best decision for me right now is to vote against the budget, to just make sure we really are working hard for the future. Thank you.
Representative Wade, and then I'll be to Michael. I also plan to vote against the budget tonight, and part of what I want to share is my personal experience dealing with the Strafford County House of Corrections and dealing with ICE detainees there. There was a case last year in April where ICE had mistakenly arrested the wrong man. He had no criminal charges. They were shouting the name Antonio when his name was Juan, and they smashed in his car window with a sledgehammer and arrested him without their attorney being allowed to arrive and talk things out and explain just an awful misunderstanding. And I saw that video of the sledgehammer smashing in the window, and I was horrified. And then I read the news article and found out he was being held right over there. And so I got in touch with his wife, I got in touch with his attorney, and contacted the jail. And I very much respect the our county staff, our officials. They do a great job with what they can do. But when I asked them, hey, what are they charging him? They didn't know. And it turned out they never charged him with anything. When they went to court, it took a month. He was in that prison for a month with nothing. No charges, nothing. When they went to court, the federal government didn't even present an argument, and the judge ruled them in contempt because they had nothing. These are the people that are being held here in my town, Dover, in my county, Strafford. That is not okay. This was sold to us as only violent criminals would be housed there. And that is not what is happening. And at some point we need to draw a line and say that this kind of behavior for people who are refugees and who have their asylum cases, they're in the middle of being processed, and they're going through the right legal pathways. These are the people that are being arrested violently. And I refuse to be a part of that. And that is why I will be voting no tonight.
Representative Farrington. Someday we will actually have cordless mics. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am also voting against the budget, but for a very different reason. $93 million, it seems, is the proposed budget. That's an increase from $90 million. $3 million budget increase in a time when homeowners are being burned by property taxes. The problems why other people are voting against the budget is because it doesn't bring in enough money from the feds or whatnot. Well, I don't see revenue as the problem. Spending is the problem. Spending is the problem. If we bring in more revenue, that's only going to further justify more spending. And that further leads to further tax increases on our constituents. In a time when people are being burned by property taxes, if there's two things that parents teach their children, it's don't steal from people and don't hurt people. Taxation does exactly that. Taxation is theft because it steals from people. Government is stealing from people what does not belong to government. This is income earned from people by their labor. It is their property, and government is stealing from these people. Taxation is theft. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Burt.
I sit on education funding in Hampshire House of Representatives. And I'm getting a little jaundiced by the previous speaker. This state spends $50 million EFAs, giving the money to rich people.
So don't talk to me about priority. We spend, the state gives $4,100 a pupil.
Point of order.
And
People need to speak to you, not to each other.
I'm speaking as the chairman.
When you were looking, I.
All right.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Continue, Representative Burris.
I just want to make the point that it costs $24,000 to educate. And the state puts up $4,100 of that. And they spend $50 million on people that don't need the money to send kids to private school.
Point of order.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the county budget, what the education funding accounts or whatever, what we spend on the state. It's not germane to the subject tonight.
Oh, I withdraw my remarks.
Thank you. Representative Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Did I? Yeah. There we go. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good. I will be also voting against the budget. I have a number of concerns as we've seen the ICE funding come from the federal government increase nearly by 50%. This is something where we're seeing a huge increase, and yet we are not necessarily doing the moral thing, in my opinion, by supporting this budget. I think that we have a number of problems when we look at some of the breakdowns. I mean, according to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement statistics, I mean, 68% of the detainees that we have are nonviolent and are being held for civil offenses. This is not necessarily something that I think is justifiable. So with that, I encourage people to join me in voting against the budget and voting against supporting ICE. Thank you.
Representative Smith, and then I'll get to Representative Johnson next. Oh, sorry, I'll come my way over.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so, I share the distaste of, most of the previous speakers with regard to the ICE, the egregious actions of ICE. We all were horrified to see, the execution, in my view, of Renee Good on the streets of Minneapolis. And a few days later, the execution of Alan Petty, on the streets of Minneapolis. We've seen the video of the incident that Representative Wade referred to, when an individual was basically hijacked out of his own vehicle. It turns out on the basis of complete error. We had a word for that in the Marine Corps, which I won't share with the delegation, but perhaps some of you can see where I'm going with this. The bottom line is that the ICE is a very distasteful development. Whatever we may have thought at the beginning, the bottom line now is we are taking money, federal money, on behalf of their activities here in Strafford County for housing for people. But bottom line is, to the degree that we would be able, and everyone has to understand, the public especially, that voting down the budget will not stop the taking of this money. One thing it will do is deprive the county of between $6 and $9 million. We have already budgeted and approved in subcommittee, the expenditure of various different line items. And if that money is removed from the budget, the only alternative the county has is to raise property taxes. And for those of you who are particularly outraged by high property taxes in Milton or anywhere in Strafford County or anywhere in New Hampshire for that matter, because we are bitterly dependent upon property taxes in the state as a result of repeated bad government by the state legislature. And as one who has served there for 24 years and voted against virtually every budget that's ever been proposed because the state has downshifted state responsibilities to the counties and the towns and cities. Okay, so the bottom line is we are halfway across the chasm of the budget process. And now the delegation is proposing to vote down the budget that would fund the expenditures that we are, yes, $6 to $9 million are going to be, are proposed. Proposed to be reduced. It will, everyone should know that that's not what's gonna happen, even if we vote down the budget. So my distaste for ICE and my support for my colleagues who also do not like what ICE is doing and that us having any part of this, the alternative is to raise property taxes. I will not vote for that. I will be supporting this budget.
Representative Johnson and then Representative Burnham's on deck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you have been arrested for a crime and are awaiting a bail hearing, if you have lost the bail hearing and are awaiting trial, if you have lost at trial and are awaiting sentencing, if you have been sentenced and you are serving that sentence, we have a jail for you. If you are not in one of those buckets, in one of those categories, you do not belong in jail. To the extent that we have allowed people not in those buckets, in those categories, to be in our jail, I regret it. We should not allow this to continue, and it must stop now. Thank you.
Representative Burnham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Representative Claudine Burnham, and I just want to state for the record, I will not be voting for the budget. And yes, I am from the town of Milton and Ward 5, Rochester. Yes, our taxpayers are suffering. We are, I have people calling, they cannot afford their taxes, they're elderly, they can barely heat their home. And 12% is almost $2 million that Milton paid this past year. Milton's a small town, $2 million is a lot of money. And for the amount of resources that they're receiving, I don't think that we see the benefits of $2 million. Thank you.
Representative Bag.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I run for this office, I did not run to be an immigrant state representative and a member of this delegation. But recent events all over the country and the egregious actions taken by ICE, it's very disheartening. I think about my fellow immigrants that are experiencing this, and not just the ones that are worried affected, but the ones who are scared to come out of their houses or go to the grocery stores because of the egregious actions taken by ICE. And given that I have this position and I'm able to do something, I'm voting no for this one.
Representative Bixby.
Yes, I have two points here. One is that, if we, whether we vote down the budget or not, it's not going to affect the revenue immediately from ICE. That will remain at the level that it is because that is a contract that we as the delegation do not have the authority to break. We can request that, at some point the commissioners renegotiate that, and whether that renegotiation will work or not is not something that we have, power over in the delegation. However, one thing that is really clear is that there are people who have been in detention in our county jail
who do not belong there because they have not been given due process. And I feel that due process is one of those things that makes America America. And if we abrogate due process, then that we are not doing our jobs. And I will be voting against the budget because I feel that it is one way of making a statement that we need to follow the Constitution.
Representative Howard and then Representative Pence, on thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, I want to, agree with the number of that Representative Bixby just made. I completely agree, in the need to do something. And, that's something where, when we're looking at potentially renegotiating this contract, we can call on the county commissioners to do so. I actually have, I personally would prefer to terminate the contract fully, but that is something where we do have a resolution to call for the county commissioners to renegotiate this contract. And I believe that that is something that we need to do. And I think that that is a way that we can avoid seeing some of the tax impacts that Representative Schmidt mentioned, because then we have an opportunity to come back to the table and figure out an actual plan forward. Thank you.
Representative Potenza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as you all have received, I handed out a document, it's about 2.5 pages long. I've been part of the subcommittee working on looking at unfortunately, the hard facts of the numbers when it comes to Riverside Rest Home. But I just wanted to just look at this document. I also put payroll trends in here first. I wasn't going to, but I think it's important. And I just want this on the record. So over the past decade, Strafford County's budget has increased substantially, growing from 60.1 million in 2016 to 93.5 million in 2026, an increase of approximately 56%. So, personnel expenses, wages, overtime, retirement contributions, health insurance, payroll taxes represent, of course, the largest category of county spending. So, 33.4 million over the past decade, payroll costs rose 34.8 million to 57.7 million. Personnel spending historically represented 55 to 58% of the county budget. And based upon the proposed budget in 2026, it's now going to reach 61.7%, the highest, share in the data set. So of course, personnel costs do remain the primary driver of overall county spending. The other thing that I want to bring up, and a lot of people don't know, is the Riverside Rest Home budget cost per resident. So if you go to that next little chart, you've got from 2021 to 2026. Those are the Riverside Rest Home numbers, and that's the average daily census, which means in a year how many people are at Riverside. In 2021, of course, our numbers were lower. Now we're back, pretty much hovering for the last 3 years at the 170 mark. So what cost per resident? This is literally what we are asking for taxpayers to pay, along with, of course, what we're getting for a dismal Medicare reimbursement. A little bit about what, of course, Representative Schmidt is talking about, but we are, if this plays in and the budget's passed with these numbers, we're literally looking at $230,000 per person per year. So there's some other people that want to talk about this. So because they have really great experience in this and other, of course, nursing homes in the area and stuff. But that is just, it's just pure insanity. It's unsustainable. And when people hear that, let's just talk about the census data right now in our county. The census data from the recent that we have goes between $86,000 to $90,000 per family. Per family, that's 4. And we are asking these folks to pay $230,000 per person per year for Riverside. It's just not sustainable. Their budget increased 27.6 million in 2021 to 39.3 million in 2026. That is going to be a 42% increase in 5 years. Of course, despite census levels remaining at 170, the operating budget has continued to grow significantly. These figures basically indicate operating costs are much higher than utilization. Now, this right here is where the rubber meets the road. This is the last thing I'm gonna talk about, and this is the Medicaid cost report operating losses. This is our best standardized measure to show where, what their financial performance is. So you can see on the chart, 2015, 3.4 million lost. Then it keeps going. Now you think in 2016, when it jumped up by like 1.2 million, that there should have been adjustments back then, but there weren't. 2017 increased, 2018, 2019, 2020. Of course, because of COVID, we have this anomaly. In 2021, it dropped to 4.7 million. But then here we go, 2022, $10 million loss in running that county nursing home. 2023, 9.955 loss million. And here we are for 2024 at 7.165 million in a loss. We don't have the 2025 numbers yet. They're not in, they'll probably be in shortly, and that'll be in a final report. So total cumulative losses, operating losses from 2014 to 2024 is $66 million. That's what we've lost on running that nursing home. There's just no way that any other entity in any place would still be operating at that point. And we are expecting taxpayers to continue to take it on the chin. So, and just so you know, these operating deficits don't include capital improvements, deferred maintenance, facility replacement costs, major renovations, or long-term debt obligations. So this is a result, this is basically a total long-term taxpayer exposure overall, including those, is substantially higher. So that's pretty much why I can't vote for the budget. I want to say some things to the people that are running the jail, the superintendent and his staff, they're top notch. Top notch. The people that are running Riverside, top notch. This doesn't have anything to do with any of that. Not with quality of care, with staff, with professionalism, or any of that. We have done a fantastic job with a very old building and all of that kind of stuff. So, like, we're not gonna play any of those games. This is literally just the hard numbers. And they are brutal. And so we've got to go back to the drawing board. We have to be talking. We've got to be working across the aisle. You know, I've had wonderful conversations with people on our executive committee. You know, Representative Lamontagne, even when I get heated, she listens to me. Representative Schmidt, which is great too. You know, I think we've become really good friends. Like, people are struggling, and what is coming, and I'm sorry, from the feds is an absolute disaster. So it's not getting better. It's only gonna get worse. And we are gonna have to figure it out and tighten our belts and see how we can still continue to help our communities, but also the people that voted for us. Thank you.
Representative Miller. Representative Wall.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask if the question is divisible, and my reason for asking this is that over and over and over again, from person or representative to representative, we're hearing about the despicable behavior and problems with ICE. And if we need to talk about that, then we need to separate it and deal with it. I've been fortunate enough to serve for Riverside Restaurant for a long time. On the one hand, we hear how awful things are in terms of the money, but then we hear that the behavior, the friendliness, the treatment, everything is outstanding. And it is, and I appreciate Representative Spencer for saying that. But at the same time, I fully know that we can use numbers and statistics to justify any argument we have. The reality is the federal government and the state government are downshifting costs to us that are not our fault. And we have a responsibility to take care of the most. No representative supports that. We have to take care of them, and there are federal requirements we have to meet, there are state requirements we have to meet, and we have unannounced inspections of our nurse homes over and over, and we always come out on top. That doesn't mean that we're wasting money. It doesn't mean that it's a glorified situation over there. We all know who, those of us who have visited it or volunteered there or whatever, see how hard it is to keep that place running and running really well. So I would like to divide the question so we could deal with ICE and all that separately and take care of the budget. And the reason I'm saying that is because every single subcommittee has taken time to work with the commissioners and our administrator to learn what's going on in each department in this county and to understand how things are operating. Every single group or committee, subcommittee, recommended to forward their portion of the budget to the executive committee, which then sent it to us. So in order to clean up some of this, I would like to separate the two issues. Deal with the budget separately from ICE. Thank you.
All right, Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To address that question specifically, I believe the answer of that divided question is no, but also understand that under RSA 24:14, and we have received guidance on this from the county attorney, whether we pass the budget or not, well, a budget will still exist. If no one is going to, say for the $25,000 for the register of deeds, say for that, the commissioner's budget as proposed by the commissioners to start will take effect. The Riverside Rest Home will not suddenly not have money to operate. The jail will suddenly not have money to operate. The sheriff's department, all of the things that are in the budget as it was presented will continue to operate. So, point taken, but this is a position where the county is not, we're not gonna have it's not like the federal government where we have a shutdown or anything like that. We will stay in business. So, thank you.
That brings me, I'm getting to everybody because I have you on my list. I'm working my way through. Next up is Representative LaMontagne.
I want to say I appreciate all of the comments that have been said. And I'm glad that we're bringing up the issue of what, 10 years or more of downshifting at the state level has done to property taxes. And to say that, you're gonna vote against the budget because, you're standing up for property, against property taxes. I mean, it's not the whole picture. And at the federal level, decisions that are made to cut public healthcare funding has contributed to our private health insurance for costs going up and up that now we have to pay out of the county budget. All of these things are connected. But I'm glad we're having this conversation. In many ways, it's a freer conversation than we have in Concord. And I hope that as a it's true.
It is true.
And as a delegation, I hope we can work through these things. I would like to see a county budget and a government run with as little waste as possible and greater efficiencies. We should all want that. We're not gonna be able to fix these things tonight, but let's keep working on it.
Representative Smith and then Representative Farrington, you're next up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know how in the end I am going to vote. On one hand and on the other hand. This is an issue that has bothered me for 25 years. I oppose the decision to build a jail large enough to make room for the federal government to use that facility to bring in money. And, you know, the theory of if we build it, they will come. And warming shelter. Except you don't put them on apps.
Representative, I'm sorry.
I just didn't want to talk when other people were talking.
Okay,
Is that okay?
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
That's what my mother taught me. The problem that we're talking about here is not singular. It is a whole basket full of problems. I think one of the problems starts when this delegation decided to support the commissioner's enthusiastic effort to build a jail that was larger than we needed to meet the needs of Strafford County. And that's why I basically don't participate in what happens in the delegation. Because I think it was morally wrong then, and I still think it's morally wrong. ICE is something that defies understanding and acceptance in a democracy. It violates the First Amendment rights, it violates the constitutional principles, and we in this county should not be part of it. I see what's happened in Merrimack, I see what's happened in Rockingham. All of those are very, they've made very determined efforts to limit what ICE does. But ICE isn't the cause of the problems that we have here. We have, I think often of a situation in which someone went and murdered their parents and then in court pleaded for mercy because they are orphans. Those of us who sit here also sit in Congress, and we vote for a budget that again and again and again underfunds the essential needs of the people of the state. We cut taxes in a way that is totally illogical, and we're quite proud of it. And when we do it, and then we come here and complain that the legislature, of which we are part, has in fact cut the money that are giving to us. So who is to blame? Which part of us is to blame? However, saying all that, and it's taking too long to say it, I still don't know how I'm going to vote, because the budget was presented by the commissioners, the committees, which I don't serve on, made decisions, the executive committee made a decision, and it's all well and good for us to decide on March 4th, that we're going to take a principled stand and vote against the budget. We vote against the budget. The only thing that changes is the $25,000 that we wanted to add. The budget's going to stay the same. It doesn't give any one of us the right to change the contract with ICE. The commissioners still have all the power. They have the power, and they've made the decisions for more than 20 years that they want to have federal individuals in our jail. So what's the principal stand of turning down the budget? To me, it means nothing. But I believe that the time has long since come when we should, as this delegation, get together and say no more, and to say it in a way that is very clear to the commissioners who are directly elected. And if the commissioners are not, in fact, in their decisions, reflecting the concerns of the delegation, then that ought to be a very clear message to the public.
So do you not vote for the budget because what they do, what ICE is doing is wrong, or do you vote for the budget? But you certainly want to make sure that the people who depend upon our services are getting those services. Thank you.
So I hate to let, so Representative Farrington, you're up next, Representative Granger are on deck. And I know we're legislators and I know we love to talk for a really long time.
I
But
apologize.
I tend to find that being succinct is more effective than long speeches. So if you could keep that in mind, I would appreciate that. Representative Farrington.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll be brief. First, I'd like to applaud the former member for her consistency throughout the years.
But current.
The former speaker.
Right.
Prior-
Okay.
prior-
From
the prior member. I'd applaud the prior member for her consistency in opposing ICE throughout the years. I know the Obama administration came to be big fans of ICE. But nonetheless, I would agree with a lot of the members in the majority of this committee. We shouldn't have ICE inmates in our jail. Like, we should not have a single one. But unfortunately, that's the reality of the failed Biden administration when they let in over 10 million. They let over 10 million people on our homeland.
Stop. Not okay.
That is okay. I have the floor.
Point of order.
Hold on.
Not.
I'm just stopping everybody for 1 second. All right, please. Look, this is a challenging discussion. And I really think it is best for everybody to be as civil as possible. Your point is taken, whether you disagreement of that, but please continue.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. I do agree with the member that we should not have a single ICE detainee in our prisons. But that is the unfortunate reality, is that more than 10 million of these illegal foreigners fled our homeland. And now we are stuck with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Granger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've heard a lot today about downshifting, and daylight savings time is just around the corner, where we take daylight from the evening and move it into the morning, and then we move it from the morning into the evening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. Wait, why am I being interrupted?
Is that, are you doing a flip?
No, I just want to speak.
Oh, okay. So I apologize.
Broke my flow. All right. So, as I was saying, it doesn't matter if you take an hour of daylight in the evening and put it in the morning, and it doesn't matter if you take an hour of daylight in the morning and put it in the evening. You have the same amount of daylight during the day. And so when you talk about downshifting and you say that, oh, we can save on property tax if we just made the state pay for it. Well, one Democrat recently suggested we just pass an income tax. That's usually what is required in order to raise money at the state level to pay for everything at the local level. That's what has happened in every other state. And that's what seems to be the modus operandi. That's what you get. You get high property taxes and a sales tax and an income tax. And then we just end up like New York. And nobody wants to end up like New York. New York is terrible. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Kaczynski.
Okay.
I have a few reasons for voting no, the main one was brought up by Representative Patton. That 230,000 per patient, the nursing home is a scandal. It's a scandal. And I know this because I'm dealing with an elderly person right now talking about a nursing home. And the cost there, $500 a day, comes to $182,000 a year. I know two other people that are in the ballpark of $160,000 a year. These are private pay. Well, they have all the private people. Well, not necessarily. One I was talking to for $182,000 only has 2 paying patients. All the rest are Medicaid. In fact, the administrator said to me, nobody can afford to pay over here. So they're dealing with the same thing. If you're saying this administration is cutting Medicaid or all these excuses, they're dealing with the same exact thing, but they're putting the product, they're doing the job for $182,000 versus $230,000. The other thing that was brought up, of the 170 residents in that nursing home, they're not all from the county, and they're not all from the state of New Hampshire. And I resent that. And I hope some of the people that weren't privy to these discussions we had in the committees know that. Because maybe when you know some of these facts, it's one thing if you don't know, you could plead, ignorance. But when you know it, you know these facts, you gotta say, why is this county in a nursing home business? The commissioners don't dispute the numbers. So that brings up the point, this has been chief documented 10 years, but over 10 years, $66 million, and nobody brought this up. What the heck is this going on here? What, we're trying to deceive the people? I mean, maybe I should, I've been in it 5 terms, I should have looked a little closer, I guess, back then. Fact is, right
It's Tom's
now,
fault, it's Tom.
right now, this is what it is, and, I don't know what, it's overwhelming, and I'm just voting no on this budget. That's for me, we're still thinking.
Representative Sallow.
Thank you so much. Like many others, I am voting no for the budget. I want to be clear that the government who runs our jail runs a really compassionate jail, which is a strange statement to me. But he cares for the people who are there, no matter what it is that they may have done. But the way that our country has gone off the rails in terms of the way we are penalizing people for the color of their skin or where they happen to be born or the circumstances is not okay. And I speak from personal experience as an American who was born abroad for a father who was deployed, working for this government at the time of my birth, that just 3 days ago, when I returned to this country from a trip abroad, was stopped by immigration, who challenged my passport because of my place of birth and wanted to know how long it had been since I had been in this other country, which, for matter of record, it had been 54 years since I had last been to the country where I was born. And I'm 56, so you can do your own math about how old I was when I left. Our country's policies and the way in which that they have been downshifting federal costs onto the state, and the way in which our state has slashed taxes on the wealthiest citizens in order to put that penalty on the rest of us, and the way in which that pressure is impacting our property taxes is really detrimental. And until we all work together to recognize that if we want to have roads and we want to be able to have people be fed and clothed and housed and sheltered from brutal weather, so that we don't end up with people dying on the streets or in soup lines like they had in the 1920s, then we need to oppose this budget. We need to stop the practices that are going on, and we need to start working together to find real solutions instead of attacking it. Thank you.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you. Just a point of curiosity, according to CVS and Mother Jones, ICE has not been paying their medical bills since October 2025. Is that happening here in Strafford? And are we on the hook for it? Anyone have an answer to that?
They're current.
They're current.
Thank you.
I mean, I owe us for last month, but that's normal.
Thank you.
Within tolerance of normal payment.
And another point to the gentleman from Milton. Having lived in New York for 65 years, New York State takes care of their people, they take care of their children, and they provide phenomenal education. And I resent his comments about New York State.
Representative Harrington.
Yeah, we could, discuss political philosophy here and federal policy all night long. And I don't know about you, but I plan on being in Concord tomorrow morning at about 8 o'clock. So this can go on forever. I move the question.
All those in favor of moving the question? Oh. Thank you so much for that reminder.
Why are you gonna stop?
The motion, on the table is to call the question. I'll have the clerk, call the vote.
Nay, just for consistency's sake. You want to go on with this?
Faye? No. We are voting.
What are we voting on? We're holding a motion, which is to vote on the budget. You're voting on calling the questions. So that's good.
Sorry.
All right.
We misunderstood. Could you start again? Yes, I will start again. You're calling the question. Motion by Representative Warrington, seconded by. Sorry, you're in my.
Let's go.
Okay, so Bailey,
Well, in my youth, I was taught that if you don't have time to do it right, where do you find the time to do it over? If we call the question, we won't have time to do it over. So I'm saying, hey.
Bay,
Yes.
Bigsby,
Yes.
Burnham,
No.
Burns,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes, please.
Dee Dee Poulin, no. Roy,
No.
England,
Yes.
Barrington,
Yes.
Gilmore, Ranger,
Oh, dang.
You have to have a reason.
For Milton.
You have to have a
For
reason.
Milton.
Give an excuse. That's what. All
right. Keep it down.
Paul,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Oregon,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kaczynski, LaMontagne, yes. La Rochelle,
Yes.
Clark vote yes. Malone,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Tenza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Selig,
Yes.
Marjorie Smith,
Yes.
Southward,
Yes.
Wade.
Yeah.
Walker,
Yes.
Wall, yes. And Howland.
Yes.
I think it's 2:30.
Mercifully, the question has been called, so we're back. 2066, so we are on then to, the budget, which the vote is, the motion is to accept the amount to be raised by taxation on the Strafford County budget, 29,128 as amended by the executive committee on February 20th, 2026. I'll have the clerk call the vote.
Bailey,
God, no.
Bay,
No.
Bigsby,
No.
Burnham,
No.
Burton,
No.
Butler,
Nay.
Dee Dee Poulin, no. DeRoy,
No.
England,
No.
Barrington,
No.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Ranger,
No.
Paul,
No.
Harrington,
No.
Oregon,
Yes.
Howard,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Kaczynski,
No.
Lamontaine. No. La Rochelle.
No.
No. Malone.
No.
Miller.
No.
Pearson.
No.
Enza.
No.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Selig.
No.
Marjorie Smith.
Yes.
Southworth.
No.
Wade.
No.
Walker.
No.
Wall. And Collins.
No.
That's one for us.
Motion fails 29-4. I'm gonna move us then to, other business that may be legally for the delegation. I believe I'm gonna pass this out. Representative Howard has something he'd like to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to introduce a resolution to call upon Strafford County Commissioners to renegotiate the intergovernmental service agreement between Strafford County House of Corrections and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now, we have had a fairly extensive conversation about this, but I think one of the big things that we're seeing right now, especially when we look at the numbers, as mentioned, I mean, NHPR did a recent article on ICE detainees here in the state of Hampshire, and 68% of those here in Strafford County were people who did not have violent criminal history. We, in my opinion, should not be detaining people who only have civil offenses. That's what this resolution does. It calls upon the Strafford County Commissioners to renegotiate this contract so that we can force the county and ICE to only detain those who have criminal backgrounds. We're talking people who are actually deserving of being in our correctional facility. We have seen too many people. We had an executive committee meeting the other week where we went into a non-public session to talk about one of these detainees. The fact of the matter is, they should never have been here, but yet they were. We need to act, and this is our way of putting our foot down and saying the commissioners need to do something. I would encourage you all to join me in supporting this resolution so that we can actually see real movement on this issue. Thank you.
So I'm gonna back you up. Can you make a motion on your resolution?
Yes, I'd like to move to adopt a resolution to call upon the Strafford County Commissioners to renegotiate the intergovernmental service agreement between Strafford County and the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I'd like to.
Okay, so like a lot of hands go. So moved by Representative Howard, seconded by Representative Bixby. I think you've already spoken your motion, Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to propose an amendment to the resolution. Seventh paragraph, which is sixth, whereas the Strafford County House of Corrections is holding nonviolent immigrants detained for civil violations alongside individuals alleged to have committed violent crimes, and I would like to strike that paragraph from the resolution. And I guess I have to make a motion, and then I'd like to speak to it.
So the motion being made is to strike 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the seventh, the whole seventh thing.
Strafford County House of Corrections holding non-violent immigrants detained.
Correct.
Without intent by individuals.
So,
I would like to strike that paragraph.
the amendment is moved by Representative Miller,
Without intent.
seconded by Representative Wade.
May I speak to it briefly?
Please.
I believe it is inaccurate, in conversation with the superintendent of the House of Corrections, and I would like to make sure that we are presenting,
as factually as we can here. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, a second, on the amendment to the, so let's deal with the amendment first, Representative Aaron.
Well, I have a question to the gentleman that's sponsored the amendment.
Yeah.
It's inaccurate. Tell us, what's the inaccurate part?
My understanding, and I could ask the superintendent to clarify if we need additional information, is that nonviolent immigrants and who are being detained for civil violation are not held in the same housing units or adjacent to people who have committed a violent crime. So they're in the same building. Jail, but they're not being held I think alongside implies. It implies that they're much closer than they actually are.
If they are not, I would know that for a fact. That was asked and answered.
Yeah, so I think that that's just a housekeeping bit, but I hope that everybody can accept that and move quickly through it.
All right, so we have, as you come to appreciate, we have to make, this is a roll call vote, by the way. So the motion is to amend the resolution by striking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. The sixth whereas is being struck, Representative, Bailey.
It has some very attractive areas. There you go.
It has some very attractive features, but in effect, you divided the question. It completely omits one of my primary concerns, which is the finance. It's entirely omitted, and it all has to do with constitutional issue.
Okay, Representative Granger.
Wouldn't it be easier just to have the original resolution withdrawn, so if the resolution without that specific line can be put in there? That way we don't have.
They can't do it.
So, that would be easier, but we have an amendment on the table right now that would strike the sixth whereas line. And I think the most expedient thing to do would be to take a vote on it and get this off the table. So I'll have the clerk call a vote on the amendment.
And you know it.
Bailey,
Aye.
Bay,
Yes.
Bigsby,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Burton,
Yeah.
Butler,
Aye.
Edie Fullen. Yes. DeRoy,
Yes.
England,
Yes?
Barrington,
No.
Gilmore.
Yes.
Ranger,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Zinsky. Lamontaine. Yes. La Rochelle.
Yes.
Yeah. Malone,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Penza,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Selig. Yes. Marjorie Smith.
Yes.
Southworth,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
and Howard.
Yes.
Now,
33-1, the amendment passes, so now the vote is on the amended resolution. Is there anyone who would like to discuss the amended version? Representative Granger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate this resolution being brought forward because it makes a very clear delineation between the two reasons that one could be opposed to the budget. I like ICE. I think that people voted and they want the illegal aliens out of the country. And ICE is how you do that. If the illegal aliens won't leave on their own, then you need to have law enforcement go by and pick them up and kick them out. And I am in favor of that. I think that's wonderful. And so I am I'm going to vote against this resolution, even though I voted against the budget. And this makes things nice and clean. And so now we have a list of people who are supportive of ICE but opposed to budget, and a list of people who are not supportive of ICE and also opposed to budget. And nice and organized. So thank you for bringing forward this resolution.
Representative, Southworth, would you have your hand raised?
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to inquire a little more on the next whereas. Could you clarify that a little bit? Thank you. The one after the one we discussed.
The delegation, that line, the delegation has reviewed the social, ethical, and community impacts of continued partnership with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I would say that right now we are reviewing the social, ethical, and community impacts that are currently happening right now. And this discussion in this meeting tonight is addressing that whereas. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the amendment, Representative Bailey?
I guess I'm being a dead horse, but we're not addressing the financial cost.
Correct.
Correct.
Like, we cannot vote for it if we omit that.
Okay. Anyone else? Representative?
Well, I don't like ICE. It's not the way it's currently doing business. I think it's gonna have to go the way of the Department of Education. The funds will have to be moved to somewhere else. So I think it's out of control. They killed two middle-class people in a nice neighborhood in South Minneapolis. That's,
Can we stop the side conversations? I can't hear it.
Please.
I mean, they murdered two ordinary middle-class people in a nice neighborhood in South Minneapolis. That makes me wonder what's happening in not so nice neighborhoods where people don't have their cell phones pointed at ICE. So I think it's a very serious problem, and so I think this resolution is a good step towards expressing our concern about this, because I think what's happening in Minnesota and elsewhere, it could happen here too, and it is happening here. Thanks.
Okay, so, we have an amended resolution on the table. I'll have, if no one else has anything further to add, I just go. All right, Representative Kenda.
Okay, so what does, in a sense, what does the resolution do? Just states a position, but, you know, it's not like changing, it's not doing anything in the sense, it's encouraging for action to be taken.
It's a non-binding ask.
Okay, it's an ask, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're still gonna be, hopefully going back to the drawing board in regards with maybe tightening the budget and doing things like that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, Representative Wade.
Yes, so super quickly, the calling upon the commissioners, the point of that is for them, we're basically calling on them to renegotiate the agreement, which would include some financial aspect that they would one hopes. And specifically, this resolution is specifically in regards to holding people who only have civil offenses and not criminal offenses. It is not saying that the entire contract will be terminated. It is specifically saying that we would not like the Strafford County Jail to be used for people who are not violent threats. That is the way it is worded here.
Okay, I will have the clerk call the vote, please.
Bailey,
Today, 45 days.
Finn,
Yes.
Bigsby,
Yes.
Burnham, Burton,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Dee Dee Poulin, no. DeRoy, no. England,
Yes.
Barrington,
No.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Granger,
Okay.
Paul.
Oh.
Harrington,
No.
Oregon,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
No.
Lamontaine. Yes. La Rochelle,
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Malone. Miller,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Tenza,
I'm gonna vote no because I want this contract to say that we wouldn't
Just
enter in contract with the Fed.
So no.
That's no. Alright.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Selig,
Yes.
Marjorie Smith,
Yes.
Alfred,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Walker,
No.
Wall,
Yes.
Howland.
Yes.
After the vote is.
The motion passes 22-11. Representative Selig.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I don't know whether our delegation will have another meeting prior to the end of the legislative session. We are, okay.
Yeah.
So then-
nursing home report.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that at that meeting, if not at this one, acknowledge our clerk who has been serving faithfully for a decade since she was a mere baby. When she was first elected. And has worked tirelessly and often thanklessly as a job at clerk. And so I didn't realize we will be meeting again, so I will save the remainder of my comments for that meeting, but I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge her incredible efforts.
So with that said, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in 12 hours, we're gonna be in hospital being and working again. And so I on the agenda, I had an update of the Women's Center, but given the time and the fact that we will have another meeting where we do the nursing home report and we can do the warming center update, I would really like it if it.
Oh, absolutely, sure.
Right. Most of your, executive.
Miles, hang up, so we can do this in the
Oh.
voice.
Yeah, I'm hanging up.
Miles, if you hang up, we can do this in the voice.
I'm out of here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. All right.
You have 10 people stand.
All right. All right.